Hi, I'm Ray from the Bookish Type, which is an independent queer bookshop in Leeds, currently just online, but soon to be actual bricks and mortar. I'm going to be talking about the importance of queer literature, particularly for young people, which fits in with the whole IDAHOBIT theme of breaking the silence. The idea of silence is really relevant when I think back to growing up and having a girlfriend when I was 16. Culturally, it did feel that there was a big silence around anything LGBT, books, films and TV for young people. There just wasn't anything. And this was the late 80s, so this was the time of Section 28, which meant there was no way we were going to learn about anything queer at school. And there was a sense of general disapproval anyway from society. So I used to live in a small village in Lincolnshire and there wasn't very much going on. But then I moved to Hull, so I moved to the big city and I discovered Page One Bookshop, which was on Prince's Ave in Hull. And this was an absolute revelation. So it's an alternative bookshop. It was left-wing, it was kind of had anarchist stuff, environmental stuff, feminist stuff, and lots of queer literature, which was just what I wanted, and magazines and postcards. It was really friendly and a little bit scruffy, and it always stunk of smoke. And I can't believe this now, but the staff used to smoke in the shop, in a bookshop, which just seems a bit crazy. So I would go there and I would quietly browse and look at all this queer literature, and it felt like suddenly there were different possibilities, different realities, and I could see myself represented to a certain extent, but it was more that there were kind of ideas for how I could be in the future, I suppose. So one of the first things I bought in Page One was this magazine, which is called Shocking Pink. And I bought this in 1990. God, that's 30 years old. So it's 90p, and this issue is called Making Love and Mischief. So this was a very DIY kind of magazine. It was made by young women, I think based in London, and it had a lot of queer content. There were lots of bi women in it, lesbians in it. It was fun, it was daft, it was anarchic, it was political, and it was really inspiring. It was exactly what I wanted, and the fact that I still have a copy now, 30 years later, this kind of shows what it meant to me. So I also started buying books from Page One, and some of the books I bought were Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit by Jeanette Winterson, also The Colour Purple by Alice Walker, Heinz Hager, The Men with the Pink Triangle, and The Well of Loneliness, Radcliffe Hall. So, admittedly, these aren't the cheeriest of reads, but, that's another issue. It was still queer literature, and that's what I wanted. So jumping forward to now, one of the really exciting things in setting up a queer bookshop is the explosion that there's been in queer YA literature. There's such a choice of books now for young adults. With characters that are gay or bi, intersex, transgender, queer, whatever. There are, books to cover sort of all identities. Some are traditional coming out stories, some are about kind of first girlfriends, first boyfriends, but many of them, they just happen to have queer characters. It's the norm, and that's something I would really benefited from when I was younger. So rather than wading through the general miserableness of The Well of Loneliness, I could have been reading some of this stuff. So things like The Amazing Two Boys Kissing, with its kind of chorus of gay men who were ghosts. Dreadnought with its trans superhero, and The Best at It. So I guess I'm trying to say that queer literature is very important, particularly for young people. It has been important and continues to be so in breaking the silence, making sure that we see ourselves and others in our communities. And it sustains us as well, particularly in difficult political times like now. So read queer books, everyone, because they are good for you.